Alright, so on this video, let me walk you through one of the automation that I have built. Basically, you would only upload a jewelry image. It sounds, creates over, amazing brand adshoots for your jewelry. All you have to do is to upload your jewelry image, and it creates, it would figure out the prompt. It will figure out, using the Nano Banana AI model, and it will also, store them on a Google Drive, right? So let me walk you through this. Before we do that, I would think that it would make more sense that we, go through a testing demo, so you get the idea, right? So now let's pick some random image out of Google to find some jewelry image, right? Let's do that. Doing this and this. Yep. So I would love to do go with this. This looks pretty neat. Let's go with this, right? Now that we have an image, let's add a product title and description and number of concept. Per concept, I would select over 30 images, right? Because I would only be paying only $1 to create over 30 images. So it would make more sense to go with higher numbers. So I get a lot of images that I could pick from. Or you could also go with less number of concept, but I would really think that it would make more sense to go with larger number, or say for example 30, right? Now that I have concepts, let's select let's enter category. It's a jewelry, but I would just enter this as a ring. So I will submit it. I don't have to enter description or category. Target audience. I just I'm going to skip it. So let's go over this and skip submit the data. Now that the data is submitted, it's amazing. So let's wait for the demo to generate images. Probably to take a couple of minutes. So let's pause this and come back when it is done. All right, so now that we have a result from the demo we submitted, let's review those. See if they are good. I have submitted over 30 images. I would personally pick that it would make a sense now that I have realized that to me would potentially mean that you would have hallucinate some of the data that would not be ideal. So I would the ideal way of generating a ad concept is between 15 to 20, because if we have a less number of, say for example 5, it would not have creative mind to come up with creative ideas for image generation prompts, right? But if we have too many, it would mean that it would kind of a chunky for AI to come up with too many creative ideas, right? So better idea would be to go between 15 to 20. So right now I have generated over paper 30 images. Let's review those, right? So this looks amazing, right? That's absolutely insane. This is amazing result. This is not ideal. I mean, there is issue with a ring. I would think that there are images looking absolutely amazing. There are images that don't really look good. So if you think about number of concept that we are generating, it would make a sense that like say for example if we are generating 20 images, it would I would think that you would at least pick by images out of 30 20 images that you would be creating, right? So they look amazing, right? And not every images are perfect, which we can understand that we are using a Nano Banana for it, and it is possible that there are images that would come up with something that we don't really like, right? So there are most of the images looks amazing. To be very honest, we say this is also amazing. We could add these images to Instagram, take the content generation to the level we want, right? It's a kind of very branded kind of images where you would be spending thousands of dollars to generate these kind of images, right? So this is pretty much how it looks like. So let's go over the actual walkthrough of automation. Automation that I have, it is extremely simple. You don't have to do anything. So let's go over this. We have a webbook webbook where we could capture the data. I have Google form. When I submit this form, I get this data captured over on Pabbly Connect. This is the data that I get. You could set up this by having the form data submitted over on this, and have a Pabbly Connect to send the data over to Pabbly Connect, right? This is pretty much our basic data. So now what I would like to do is I would like to extract the since the added yeah, product image is added to a Google Drive, what I would like to do is, when you add a image to a Google form, say for example here, when you add it, this is added to a Google Drive directly, right? So what we want to do is, extract the ID of it. So we get the, we would be able to create a download link for it. So we can't really use the, direct link. Say for example, if you look into, the example data, there is this product image, right? There is a product image. We can't download this directly until unless there is if we click on it, right? So what we are going to be doing here is that we want to create a link, right, by extracting this image ID, right? So what if you look into this, there is a separate uh, action that would get this ID, right? Now that we do that, now in the middle of the the automation, what I have done is I have added the step called add image to image kit, right? So basically this would allow me to store the image input on a third party server. I know this is not yeah, we already have Google Drive, but there is a possibility that Nano Banana would be able to download this image input from Google Drive and could fail to generate images. The interest better way to handle this way to store this image on on some servers where we could get direct link for it, right? So I have done the exact same thing here. If you think about it, I am using the image kit here that would add images to image kit server. Then I get the direct link or something direct link like this, right? That is pretty much up what I'm doing right now. Now that is the a basic part of adding image to third party servers. Now what I would like to do is I want to create a Google Drive for it. In the Google Drive, I want to create a folder where I could store the these images, right? So what I'm doing here is to say this, there is the image name, sorry, product title, and there is this ID. So we could make this unique. So we are not creating duplicate folders that would confuse us. So this ID would help us to identify it. So this would create a folder inside Google Drive where we would be able to get the data in an easy way, right? Now what I'm doing here is I'm using the OpenAI to generate image prompt for it. So I'm using the custom request. Currently, Pabbly has a limitation of using the prompt that is saved on a OpenAI server already. So what I'm doing here is I have saved the prompt that would generate the prompts for images, and I'm using this as a prompt ID. You say this. You can also pause this and copy the prompt if you would like, or if you don't want to copy manually or anything with the steps. If you want to do pause it and create it, you can do that. But if you want to get this workflow, you can get this from the link, so you don't have to figure out and do everything. You can just get the link directly and import this entire workflow inside your Pabbly Connect account. You don't have to set up everything manually, right? Or you could also pause this and set up them one by one, that if that is something that you would prepare, right? Now in the OpenAI prompt, what we are doing here is we are basically asking it to create prompt for Nano Banana, right? If I'll show you an example of it. Right now I'm using the responses API. What this does is it would generate the response in their servers in the background. We could be able to pull that response out after a couple of minutes. If you see this, I have made a request to OpenAI servers that would run in the background. If you think about it, there is this response ID. It is still in the queue process. What that would mean is that we can pull this queued process once that is complete, right? Now let's we have added a delay that would basically a delay for 5 minutes. We could reduce it, but I would prepare to have a longer delay. Now with the get add concept response, what I've done is I simply map this response ID, and I'm getting the response in a nested JSON format, right? If you see this, there is the response from the OpenAI, and then we also have a prompt for each of the images for over 30 concepts, because we are we want to get 30 images, right? Now what we need to do is, if you look into response of the OpenAI, it is nested under JSON data, right? Under one, a key. Say for example, right? Nested data. So that potentially mean that we can't really map this entire data to next steps until unless we extract this JSON data out of this, because this is not really a way to get the data, right? Now what we want to do is extract this data. If you see this, I have extracted exactly this. Now I have the ad concept or everything. There are certain things within this or string format. What we want to do is we turn this into a JSON format in a proper way. We could where we could irritate it. So it would be a true array value or array items that would help us to run each of this, because we have over 30 images. We can't really do that all of them at once, but what we could do is we iterate these images one by one so that we could process every images, right? If you look into the next action, what we have here is I'm simply doing the exactly the same. Basically we have a concept ID and everything created by OpenAI. This is everything created by OpenAI. And now let's now this is the first concept. This would go basically make a use of Nano Banana. We can't really use the Nano Banana with the Pabbly Connect, but because right now there is a limitation of generating images with Nano Banana on Pabbly Connect. But I have built an custom app for this to generate images with the Nano Banana with the replicate, right? We are sending the prompt for it. If you see this, you can also copy manually if you would like to copy this prompt. Now there is a image input pocket. I have selected the aspect ratio. Now that we are getting the image output, right? Right, it would only be stored for a certain amount of time, right? So that would potentially mean that once the image is generated, what we want to do is we want to store this on Google Drive, so we could have that data with us at any point in time, right? This next section does this exactly. I'm just uploading the records manually. Sorry, with the action that would upload the images to a Google Drive. Now we want to have this little nice table where we could see the data related to this rings or whatever the images that we are generating, right? Sorry, not this, right? So this little table would help us to organize that very well. So this next action does this exactly. It would simply create a new row inside a Google Sheet. So this is pretty much up how this entire automation runs, and it looks amazing. If you want to get access to this, let me I will share the link in the description of this video. Go over it and click on it to get it. Or you could also manually if you prepare to have experience or do a practical thing up go over this so you get the idea a kind of if you have creative mind to go over this manually, you could also do that, or you could also get the link in the description of this. So that is pretty much of how this entire automation is done. And if you like it, let me know in the comment section. I will respond to it. And if you like video like this, subscribe to my channel so we could I could record more of this video like this.